Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning into my channel. It's always a joy seeing you right here virtually. Today, I want us to talk about learning. So, I'm addressing my student audience especially. Today, I want us to learn how to learn. So, I'm tackling a topic titled Learning to Learn. Do you know that we all do not learn the same way? Oh, if you didn't, now you do. We all do not learn in the same way. In fact, researchers who are interested in learning have reported that we have different learning styles, several schools of thought. One school of thought states that we have three learning styles, and I think for the purpose of our learning, I would want us to focus on that today. So, this school of thought propounds that there are principally three learning styles, and the first of which is the auditory learners, those who learn best by hearing. They learn very well when they hear what is being taught. And we have the visual learners, those who learn very well by seeing what is being taught. And we have the kinesthetic learners. These are people who learn well by doing what is being taught. So these are the three learning styles that most people fall into. That does not mean that if somebody learns best by auditory hearing, then they don't learn seeing. No, it's just that predominantly they learn best when they hear, but when they see too, they pick a thing or two from it, and when they do, they get to learn something from it as well. So I would want to briefly explain these learning styles and how you can make the most of your learning if you are predisposed or you belong to any of these learning styles. So for an auditory learner, auditory has to do with ears, audio, something you hear, you listen. And so for a learner like that, they learn best when they listen to lectures or to teachings in the classroom, lecture rooms, or wherever they find themselves. They learn best by hearing. And so for somebody like that to excel and do well in your studies, you might want to ask questions when you are learning in a classroom setting. Once you ask relevant questions about what is being taught, you position yourself or condition yourself to get the most out of the learning experience. Another way you can maximize your learning as an auditory learner is to discuss with others. So after class, you need to call up your study partners and then discuss what was taught. Or even you can learn on your own individually. Then when you come together as a learning group, you will now discuss how each and every one of you understood from the lecture and how you understood having sat down and learned on your own. As you discuss and you hear them share their views, it helps you to appreciate what was taught and then to build your understanding and memory on the subject matter. Another way you can do very well learning as an auditory learner is by recording the lessons so that you can listen to them later. Naturally, people who are auditory learners are very good listeners and they learn very well with music, even at the background or listening to radio. They are not distracted. For some reason, it facilitates their learning. And so when they are listening to something, it aids their understanding very well. So for somebody like that, if possible, take permission and record your teachers and listen to the audio lessons afterwards. It will do you a lot of good. If you are learning as an auditory learner, another thing you can do to excel in your studies is to read aloud. Read what you have, hear it yourself, and then internalize what you are hearing or listening to and make the most out of it. So, this is how auditory learners can make the most of their learning. The next group of people are the visual learners. These are the people who learn best by watching or seeing the stuff being taught. For most of these people, they are very good. When they watch a movie and you ask them to narrate it, they can tell you scene by scene, action by action, and they can even dramatize everything they saw because they are visual learners, and what they see sticks very well and works very well for them. They learn best by doing this. For somebody like you, when you're approaching learners, this is my advice to you. Have highlighter pens. So when you are reading a text or a material or a book or anything of that sort, you would highlight what interests you and the best lessons, the cogent points, the important ideas. You would highlight them. You can use different colors. You can use maybe yellow for things that you want to remember, maybe green for things you feel that it's worth keeping for the exam and all of that. So this helps you to appreciate what you are learning and pick a lot from it. You can also use flashcards, small cue cards that you can write on. So maybe at the front you write a question and at the back you write an answer to that question, and you keep them handy. So as long as you keep seeing them, it helps you to learn very well. If possible, have video recordings. Go online, like coming on YouTube and learning about the subject matter. See the facial expressions of the lecturer or the teacher and how they make important points and how they visually represent those points. It will help you to recall better when you are trying to review your lessons and probably present them in an exams or a test situation. Another powerful way you can maximize your learning as a visual learner is to draw diagrams. Have diagrammatic representation of the things you are learning. If possible, use funny drawings to represent them. Even though they are funny, they stick in your brain, they stick in your mind, and you remember them, and you can easily recall them and make good use of it should the need arise. So these are some of the strategies visual learners can use to make the most out of their learning. The next group of learners are the kinesthetic learners, and I would want to share with you how they can also make the best of their learning. Kinesthetic learners, also referred to as tactile learners, means these are a group of learners who learn best by doing the thing. They learn best when they touch it, they feel it, and have a physical feel of what is being taught. It helps them appreciate what they are learning very well. So for such people, they easily lose attention in class when they are not physically engaged in what is being taught. So for them to make the most out of their lessons, I advise that they study in short sessions. For somebody like that, you cannot sit at a go and learn for hours and make the most of it. But when they learn in chunks and in short intervals, it helps them to process what has been learned and then make good use of it. If possible, they should engage in field trips. They can't be learning about chemicals on the board without visiting maybe a chemistry lab and seeing H2O in real action, whereby two molecules of hydrogen and one of oxygen comes together to form water or something like that. When they get to see that, it helps them appreciate the lessons better. When they are learning about maybe tilling the ground for agricultural purposes, they might need to visit a farm to see it being done, the fork being used to turn the soil. It helps them appreciate the lessons better. They also do well by discussing what they learn with others. So if you are learning and you discuss what you're learning with your friends, even with your lecturers or teachers, it helps you appreciate what you are learning. Another way they can maximize learning as tactile learners or visual or kinesthetic learners is to read and write what they are learning. So as you are reading, try to write out what you are reading in another book. So you are reading from one book and you are writing out what you are reading in another book. It helps you to make a mental representation, a visual, physical representation of what is being learned. Sometimes some people even learn, you would see them doodling. They are not actually writing what they are learning, but because their hand is engaged and scribbling something representing their process of learning, it helps them to really appreciate their studies well. So you can be learning and have something in hand that you are playing with. As long as it keeps you busy and focused, you can use that. So these are the lessons on learning to learn. I hope with this you can make the most out of your learning, and I believe, as always, you have gotten value out of this video, and I would want you to do something for me, and that is like the video so that YouTube will show it to a lot more people. Engage by commenting your views on it, asking questions. I'll respond to them, and then share the video with your friends so that they benefit from this value packed video. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you would see it and you would enjoy the experience. I remain Gamel Sankar. It's been good sharing thoughts with you on learning. See you in my next video.